This is Gong Co by Christian Patterson, published 2024. This is another really well put together by Christian Patterson. If you've looked at any of his other books, you can see that there's a real attention to detail in the way that everything comes together to create an immersive experience with a book. So it's a hardcover, it's quite a thick book, and there is a dust cover which is a French fold, so you can open the dust cover out. It's got some text: going out of business, date 1978, a list of groceries, and then once you open out the dust cover, there's some images of items that would have been around in the time that this store, grocery store, was up and running in its prime. And that's what it's about. It's about a grocery store called Gong Co. And I'll start showing you some pictures now. So again, there's a nice little touch, made in the USA. And then to Sweetie. You can see even the typeface is akin to an old typewriter. Maybe that's a cotton field. Interesting that there's no horizon in the early pictures. Faded sign for soda. So this body of work was made in Mississippi over the course of, I think, around 15 to 20 years. So a really long project in the making. And there we have it. So that's the outside of the store, the Gong Co. And there's some faded typeface there. And then there's a close-up. Marigold, Eat Marigold, I think is the town maybe. So we're getting the sense from the early photos of not quite knowing what's going on. Everything pretty much fills the frame. There's some newspapers maybe taped to a window because we can see the opposite side as well. And then feels dirty. Right. Going out of business. Juxtaposed with Happy New Year and some bells. Dirty bells held by a dirty hand. Today's cash, and then either some kind of receipt or a price list maybe. And then a little snapshot of some different things that the store would have stocked. It kind of reminds me when I was a kid. I worked in a corner shop. Probably not on the scale as this store here, but it sold everything. People would come in asking for the most obscure things. Mississippi, the most lied about state in the nation. A bumper, what do they call that? Bumper sticker or something? It's probably quite political. And then we have the inside of the store. So if we think of all the earlier pictures as the starters or the entree, then we get the main course where we actually see what the store was stocking. It's quite fascinating. There's lots of old produce here. Top of a cooker. So Patterson, when he was travelling around, he came across this store. It looked a little bit dilapidated, but it was open and he went in. And then he visited the store again and again and again to make pictures. Interestingly, there's no portraits in this work. The only human, or the only trace of a human, is the hands. We don't know whose hands they are. This is an interesting picture. That chair could be the chair from the beginning of the book. That chair there, maybe. Interesting inclusion of some fresh fruit, which really looks appetizing given all of the grime and dirt that we've just been looking at. Oh, there's the yellow section. Not quite sure what they are. Some old products which I'm not very familiar with. And then from another angle, I don't know if that's a different room. It could be the same room from a different angle. Probably is actually. I think I saw that store sign in the other one. And then some leftover residue. Snickers. Something quite beautiful about the peeling paint and the chalkiness of the paint. Remember the entranceway or the gateway at the beginning of the book with a chalky green paint. Where is it? Yeah, faded chalky green paint. Oh, there's the green section. Got dedication to continue making a body of work over such a long period. And what do we have here? Ivermectin. Ivermectin. Do you remember during the pandemic, people started to take ivermectin, some kind of animal worm or something, I think it was, because it was believed to counter the effects of COVID. Maybe there's that chair again with some other items. The red section or the pink section. Still life. Never open can. Contents not for human consumption. Refreeze to reuse. No idea what that is. So, a still life body of work dating back to the 70s and 80s. It's quite interesting. If you're familiar with Patterson's other books, only have red-headed peckerwood, but it has a kind of echoes with the still life and the way things are positioned. And oh, there's an echo of Eggleston there. The way that he uses text as well on hand painted signs and things like that, it's quite familiar. And this setup, I think, would echo some of the photos in Red-Headed Peckerwood. So he's taken us on a tour around the store, back in time. Incredible that all of this stuff was left behind. I think when he's shown this work in the past, he has kind of recreated the store. I'd love to see it in person. And there's some close-ups of some of the other items that we saw. Gong Co. Interesting title as well. Gong Co was the name of the store, which is gone. And then there's a list of titles for the plates. It's quite a fascinating book. I love the way that the cover is faded, and as I said, the dirty marks on the edges of the book is quite a fascinating book. Get a copy, have a look at it. It's brilliant.